Welcome back, guys, to the This and Much More podcast. I'm Evelyn, and my co-host,
Rollie Vogues.
and today's special guest is
Luke, the Blue Bus Vintage.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the Blue Buzz Vintage?
So the Blue Bus Vintage is both a vintage store, a vintage brand, and its own brand in a way. And man, I just love it. I sell vintage clothing, resell clothes that I find at the thrift store, a bunch of hats, you name it, 80s, 90s, sports, all that good stuff. And that's so much fun.
Dang.
So what sparked that interest though? Like, how old are you?
I'm 23.
You're 23.
23.
Okay.
Yeah.
So young.
So he's
Yeah. How old are you guys?
How old do you think we are?
I'd probably say
I won't
28.
get offended. Me, 28, and him?
Also 28.
I'm lucky.
she's
you.
18. Nah, just
Yeah. Like, no.
No way.
I'm 27.
she's 27. I'm 29.
Okay,
So you're like right
in
there.
between.
Yeah, you're literally
I
like
hit
right
the
in the middle.
average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you hit the average.
Would have been crazy if I said like 40 right now.
Damn. I was like,
Man, who said that? For Larry's episode, Star, his girlfriend or his fiance was like, "Oh, he's 40," and I'm like, "Damn." Off camera though.
yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, real fast though.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out. He brought us I guess it's
Eureka.
Buckle Bunny.
Eureka Heights, it's the Buckle Bunny Getting Lucky Cream Ale.
Actually, I liked it. It was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like wait, is it like a dark beer, or not really?
You know, I've only drank it out of the can, so I really can't tell you.
Oh, because you know how
It
sometimes
tastes like a dark, like it
well,
would be.
but
a
it
dark-
doesn't have that like strong
Yeah.
dark beer aftertaste.
Yeah, because which is the other one?
Because we've had some like when we've gone to like that one bar, Axelrad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there.
like Axelrad and they, places like that have usually like the local. But yeah, you know, I guess I'm thinking like some of it is like comparable to like coffee, whereas like sometimes the coffee is super strong
True.
or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
No,
pretty
but it's
good.
pretty smooth. Yeah.
No, I
But
like it.
Thank you. It is pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me see. Let me get something they've probably not had. So let me go with this. Yeah.
So yeah, so what sparked your interest?
Yeah, so basically, so I worked at a shoe store in 2019, 2018 into 2019. My buddy was like the manager there at JD Sports in the Galleria, so started working with him and, you know, just was kind of into shoes, but nothing too crazy at that time. And so kind of started to get into like reselling sneakers, this and that, because of course we were getting all the Yeezys, Jordans, this and that. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like backdooring shoes and then reselling them on like OfferUp. And so that was kind of like, I was like, oh shit, I can make like $100 off this, like just doing this, and this,
Yeah.
you know? And so over the summer, you know, I was like, fuck, okay, I should probably get like an internship or something. Cause at that time I was only a sophomore in college and I was like, okay, should probably start to get more serious with like getting the internship lined up, blah, blah, blah. So started working an internship, but still continue to like resell sneakers and this and that. I remember one time so I went home for a weekend and my neighbor was throwing away like an old Michelob Ultra sign. And it was just like on the side of the, you know, to get picked up by the trash people the next day. I was like, fuck, let me take it. Like, let's see what's up with this.
Yeah.
You know, it looked fine. I mean, I didn't know if it was broken or not, but
Yeah.
why not try it out? So I went and grabbed it. I brought it in and lucky enough, I plugged that thing in. I pulled on the lever and it freaking lit up. It was completely fine. I was like, fuck, holy shit, I got this for $0. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some money.
I'm about to make some money. Because you look at these neon signs, and I went online, and I was like, holy shit. Sold it for $270.
Damn.
I was like, God damn, I could be like flipping whatever at this point.
Yeah.
And so to kind of lean back on like the shoes, like was always kind of into shoes, was reselling shoes. At the same time, I was following like vintage accounts, was really into like vintage clothing. People would always ask me like, Luke, like where are you getting these like cool Rocket shirts, you know, from when they won in 95 and stuff like that. I was like, hey, just this account that I follow, this and that. And so that summer in 2019, I would go to a sneaker store. They were doing like their own kind of like flea market over the summer. And I went and stopped by there and these guys were, I went up to their tent. I was just chilling with them, like checking out their clothes, and I like really fucked with their clothes. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Kind of started to get to talking to them and like how they started and this and that. And I come to realize that they go to U of H and they're a whole year younger than me. And they're telling me like, yo, we're doing this. We're flipping clothes. Like it's super fun. Like we just go to the thrift store. you know, we sell the clothes that like you're practically wearing all the time. I was like, dude, that's so crazy. Like, I'm going to do that one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that one day. Like, I was so in that, to kind of recap it a little bit there, in 2019, I started in our fraternity, I was our recruitment chair. So I was super busy with that. I had an internship, school. So of course you could probably think like, oh my God, all that together, probably not the right time to start this
Something.
vintage
Yeah,
thing. Right. I had so much going for me. So when like the end of 2019 came around, I was like, okay, I'm going to start this business. Like, I'm going to do this. Once my recruitment like chair position is over, which it ended in like November, I was like, come January, like New Year's resolution type thing, I'm going to start this business and just see what the hell happens. Right. So yeah, come 2020, I was like, yo, I'm just going to make this page. 2 weeks before, I'm sitting there on my phone. I'm like, fuck, what names am I going to use? Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you come up with that?
You know, so of course you can tell I love the color blue. Like, I'm wearing blue shoes. Yeah. I'm wearing a blue shirt. Blue is my color. So I was sitting on like 5 or 6 names. I still have it probably written down somewhere. But I was like, okay, look, there's all these pages out here in Houston, wherever. They're all named Houston, Texas.
Thrift or something.
Texas vintage or something like super, not saying it's bad, but it's not marketable in a way. It's like not a brand that can go behind it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like Texas thrift, this, yada, 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 you know? And I was like, all right, so 1, I love the color blue. 2, the Volkswagen bus. Okay, I don't have one. You didn't see one. Like, that's a car I would love to get in the future. But man, that car is so cool. And the reason I chose that car is because 1, of course, love it, favorite car. But me and my family, we're from the Netherlands, and we see that car all the time when we go for the summer. And so that's just kind of where it all sparked. It's just like a thing. I was like, okay, the blue bus vintage, like this sounds so cool, right? If someone is just sitting on the highway, and I've had this happen multiple times with my friends, they'll see a blue Volkswagen bus. They'll send me a Snapchat. They're like, yo, the blue bus. Like, it's literally, the car does it itself. I don't even have to, like, say anything. Like, the car, like, they know my brand and everything already.
Yeah.
But the car in itself, it already does it. And it just kind of, like, it
they were,
clicks.
like, related to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's pretty badass.
Like, so cool. So, yeah, that's kind of how the name came around. Now it's just, like, I can't believe, like, it's this big. Like, it never thought that it would be this big. I always, like, have high expectations of myself, but my gosh, I mean, I'm so blessed, like friends and family that support me like crazy. I can't believe it. And people have like shown me a lot of gratitude.
Yeah.
Insane.
I'm looking at your shirt. That's what you mean. Like, it's like
that's
your brand.
his shirt.
Yeah, no, I know. That's
okay.
It says the blue bus. Like, that's
The
what I
blue
was
bus
looking
vintage,
at.
yeah.
And
That's
you
fire.
sell those too, right?
So yeah, I did. So I did a pre-order right now. This is like crazy story. So on my 1 year anniversary, January 9th, 2021.
When?
I was like, okay, hell yeah, let me drop a shirt. Like, let me do something like to give back. Like, let me make something for Blue Bus for people to like enjoy. Now, this is like such a good failure story because on my next t-shirt, like we're gonna pop off. Like, we're gonna do good because we learned from this. So to kind of get to it there, this shirt on my 1 year anniversary, I was like, okay, we're gonna post a shirt January 9th. It was just a pre-order. So I had the design made. I had everything lined up, like pre-order. You know, I needed to get like 35 t-shirts made just to do the pre-order. So I put the pre-order out there. I'm like advertising the shit out of it everywhere, telling my friends to buy it, telling them to put it on their story, this, yada, 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 yada. I get 4 orders and it's been like a week. And I was, fuck, I'm not going to sell this damn shirt. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, I was so sad. Like, it sucked. Like, I guess not knowing at the time, like, how to really go about it, because now I do. Now I see, like, especially with you and your brand, I've seen how the product photos and this, and this, like, that's what makes it come to life. And people start to realize, like, okay, you got to bring attention to it. You got to, like, make people get attracted to it, all this stuff. And then people are, like, the desire, like, oh, shit, like, I want this. Oh, he has that shirt? Oh, fuck, I want that shirt, too.
Yeah.
You know, they also wanted to see it more in person. When I started wearing this, because so after that failed, right? I was like, fuck, I still need the shirt. Like, I love it, like myself. So I'm gonna make 5 for myself. I refunded all the people. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I could not get the order filled. Like, you know, and I thought I would, right? I had like 2,000-ish followers, plenty of friends that were saying, "Oh yeah, we'll buy it," yada yada yada. And then they see the price and they're like, and that's when I was like, damn, that's tough. I mean, you guys said this, you guys said you would, and then
like they hype you up, right? You're just like, oh shit, well, this and this person said they were gonna buy, so that's already like 10 people, and plus my followers, you know.
Yeah, you just have such high hopes that it's gonna do well.
Yeah.
And it ended up not doing well, and I was like, fuck. So, but that's okay. It's okay. I ended up, I still got the shirt, right?
No, yeah, it's a nice shirt.
And it's fire, yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up doing a giveaway. I was like, fuck, I still got to give one out to somebody, right? So I do a giveaway. A bunch of people enter that, of course, because it's free. So fuck it. Of course they're going to join it, right? So I do a giveaway and bought 5. I gave one away, and now I have one. My brother has one. My girlfriend has one. And then I got one left just to, like, you know, sleep in, just chill. Maybe give away again. I don't know. We'll see.
How much were you selling them for?
35.
Really?
Okay, that's reasonable, yeah.
It's reasonable.
Honestly,
because
it's a price. When you said that, when they saw the price, I was like, well, shit, well, I wonder if he was selling it like at 60 or something.
no, it wasn't even that bad. And like, I was
No, that's like average.
35 is fine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pay for the price because, of course, you've got like what's going on the back.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
No, yeah.
What size do you have left?
XL.
XL?
They were all XL.
Damn.
Yeah. So, you know, people have said like, yo, you need to drop that shirt.
You
again.
do need to drop that shirt.
Maybe
again.
I do, right? You know, so we'll see.
Oh, so you still haven't dropped it?
No, I still
he did.
only made 5.
But he only made
Yeah,
5.
I only
So-
made 5, so you know, maybe we'll do another. But I have another design, and we can kind of get into that later in that one.
Honestly, I really like the shirt.
Isn't it cool? I was trying to go for like the wrap T-shirt vibe.
Yeah.
I don't own any wrap T-shirts, but you know how that's kind of in right now, and
Yeah.
people were wearing that. So I was like, okay, let me make a Blue Bus vintage shirt out of that. Kind of on the back, get like Houston vibes. So I have like the skyline. I've got the Be Someone sign, you know, yada yada yada. So yeah, super cool. And yeah, fuck it, it's exclusive. I got 5. You don't have one, so you know.
No, that's dope.
Yeah. So
But damn, well, if you decide to sell that one, like, I'd buy it.
okay, cool.
No, I'm saying like the extra large one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we can talk about it on break. Or something.
All right, perfect. Let's do it. Yeah.
So you came from Katy, right?
Yeah, I came from Katy. So Highway 6 and I-10, like, I would still say it's Houston, right? But, like, we're just going to call it Katy.
So you've always been, because you said your family's from Netherlands,
Yes.
but you guys have always been here, or?
Yeah, born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Well, we'll just say fucking Katy, I guess, right? Yeah, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Both my parents are from Netherlands. They moved over here to Jacksonville, Florida first in 1997 or 1996. I can't recall. And then my dad got a nicer job opportunity in Houston. So I go, oh, shit, let's go to Houston. Let's go to Houston. And then boom, 1 year later, I'm out of here. And I got born, right? Yeah. So, and yeah, that's how I came to be. I've got a little brother as well. He's a rapper. So that's super cool. And he's got like 13,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Oh,
Holy
shit.
shit.
What's super cool, and this is totally like coincidental, I go by the Blue Bus vintage. He goes by Red Boy. So it's kind of cool. Like we've got red
blue.
and we've got blue, and we've got these
Yeah.
different colors going on. Totally coincidence. And yeah, we're both killing it. It's crazy how we're just like entrepreneurs like that off the bat.
I was going to ask you, what about your parents? Like their support is there?
Yeah, they love it. They are constantly on Facebook just like sharing my posts and stuff like this and
That's
that.
really good.
That's really good.
That's fire.
It's super nice. And before this shirt, I actually made a hat as well. It was like a dad hat. I bought like 100 of them, and I mean those sold well. People loved those, and all my relatives, because we're the only ones that live outside of the U.S. And so all my relatives over there were like, "Oh, I want a hat. Like, please, like, how can we get it, shipped over there?" Because shipping overseas is kind of
Super expensive.
and all that good stuff. So my parents would go back sometimes often to see my grandma or whatever it may be, and I'd throw a couple in the bag so that they could get theirs as well, So, yeah.
Dang, how is it that y'all are like how do you feel like, I mean, you don't have cousins here, right? It's just your parents and your brother.
Just my parents and my brother. It's definitely like a different life than what others live when they have all their relatives inside of Houston, or just at least inside of the U.S. to where you could drive potentially to them. So we try to go every single year to the Netherlands just because you got to catch up with the family. You gotta see your grandpas, your grandmas, your uncles, cousins, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, we try to do that every year. My gosh, one of the hardest years of my life, like during COVID and right before COVID, was when my dad had a job opportunity in Netherlands to work there for a year. Mm-hmm. So my mom was like, well, I want to come too, because of course they live there all their whole life, and now they get to go back for
a job
just for a little bit and get paid. So yeah, it's just me and my brother Dion home in Houston, and we were in college, and like we just had to work it out ourselves. That was tough. Like, yeah, really tough.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
how much younger is he?
He's 21, so he's 2 years younger.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so at that time he was 19 and I was 21. And I mean, you can only imagine. I mean, they're 8 hours ahead in time. So if something's going on, right? Like
the communication's like not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like they were there for us, but it was like they couldn't be there physically. So that kind of sucked. And
that's what happened to you, right?
With what?
When your parents went on the cruise and your brother had like a major accident.
Oh my God, yeah.
They were like, where were they going? I don't know. They were like on a cruise, and then
it's just one of them cruises or whatever, and then situation sparked up with my brother, and then like I had to like he didn't have his phone. I had to like call them, and then they had to call me back, and I don't know.
And it was just like a back and forth. But it's not. I can only imagine, like, as a parent, right? Like you knowing that you're there, but physically not there, so you can't do shit. You're just like there on the other end waiting.
And my mom was like, I'm getting off this cruise. Like whenever we make a stop, I'm out of here, and I'm like, just chill, we got it, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that sucks when they're not there, like when you need them type shit, But
no,
I mean,
seriously. And it was the hardest part. And like, my gosh, it was so emotional. We had to put my dog down. And
oh my God.
My parents were over there. Right. So it was like, like taking her to like, it was just so sad. Like my parents were on fucking FaceTime. And we're putting our dog down at the vet, and like, you can only imagine I don't know if you guys have any pets, but like,
we had to do the same. I think it was
right. When was it? Like, not during COVID, right?
I don't know.
It was before, right?
Right, I think before.
It was like right before COVID.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Sucks.
Yeah. It does suck. We're about to actually put my girlfriend's dog down tomorrow, so yeah, it's kind of tough. But she's all good there mentally. She just like cannot get herself.
It's just age.
It's just age. Like, she's a mutt, but like she just cannot get up. Like, she's like peeing and shitting inside the house. But
yeah.
She's gonna be up there in heaven, running around with her other dog, Annie, from a couple years ago. So good for her, So she's lived a good life, long life. So yeah, but that's.
Well, hopefully everything goes well tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be sad, but hey, you know what? She's going to be in a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, changing the subject, I guess.
Let's get happy.
Yeah, no worries. It's fine.
He gives me like the happy vibes, like Rob. But
Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But less hyper.
Energetic, yeah.
Yeah.
Less like in your face.
Yeah, because Rob is like that, right?
Yeah, Rob is very energetic.
He's very happy vibes, energetic, and I feel like you give off happy vibes, but more chilled. Like
more chill. Well, I'll tell you what. Like, I've had a long week.
So you're tired?
I'm tired, but I'm here and I'm ready. Like, I was super excited to do this.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Honestly, it's most of the time it's Roland that knows like the people that are coming, for the episode. So for me, I'm always just like, well, I want to say half the time, right? Like I don't know the person, like, it's based just off like social media. So it's always very exciting to like get to know,
like you get to see this mantra on social media, and then you get to actually see him in person, talk to him, and see like who the person really is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. Yeah, for sure.
See, like, I know your favorite color is blue.
Yeah. Not everyone would know that.
Not with your logo.
Not with my logo, no. Especially if they didn't know about Blue Bus, then they would have no idea.
But so getting back into it, and you said that I know you mentioned earlier that you used to buy from other, like, I guess, resellers, right?
Yeah. So when I had met those dudes, right, that were younger than me, and they went to U of H. I was like, dude, I can freaking do this. So I was like occasionally kind of like bargaining them, buying stuff off them, and just like flipping it on OfferUp.
Flipping their stuff.
Flipping their stuff.
What you would buy, yeah.
What I was buying from them, and I would kind of go on OfferUp and find jerseys. It would be like 3 jerseys for $10, and like one was an All-Star Game Yao Ming jersey. I put it back on OfferUp for like $180. Bargained with some dude, made $120. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah. This is sick.
Yeah.
Like, damn, okay. I mean, yeah, the jersey was cool, but it wasn't even my size. So, you know what? I'm just going to sell it regardless. So.
No, yeah.
Do you think you started like at a time where it's not as saturated as it is now?
Totally. I think I went into it just at the point where people started hating that more and more people were getting into it. You know what I mean? So I started January 9th, 2020. So this was like before the pandemic. I was like, this is the perfect
It's literally
time.
right before.
Yeah.
Right before shit like hit the fan. And what's crazy is that like the whole beginning of the pandemic like completely made the space so saturated because people were just scramming around. Now, I don't know if that's the right word, but just like trying to find some way to make some money because everyone was just stuck in their house.
Yeah.
They're like, what can I do? So all these people joined this kind of vintage scene. You know, I wouldn't really call it a community. That's another topic for discussion, but it's crazy how much more saturated it is. And I'm so glad I'm like kind of hopped into it early and got so much knowledge on it. And you know, I've just stayed true to myself and just like learned from others around me and taught myself. And man, it's crazy. Like I'm glad I started when I did, because I think if I started a little later, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today, honestly. Like, it
would have been a little bit harder, right?
It would have been a little bit harder. And I think it is so saturated right now. It's insane. There's so many vintage markets going all around Houston. I can't even sell t-shirts like I was a year ago.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many other vendors and the competition is insane. It's like everyone is like almost like pricing each other down. I could have a shirt on my rack a year ago that was like $20 to $25. Nowadays it's in someone's $5 pile. How am I going to sell that same shirt for $20 to $25 now? Then
do you think it's because since like there's so many people, they just don't know the value of it?
Yes, one. I think so, but at the same time I feel like they're like not wanting to hold on to that item for too long. So they're like, screw it, we're going to just throw it in this $5 pile. We see everyone's doing a $5 pile. It seems to work, so we're just going to put it in there. Now I'm sure like those nicer items do get picked out first because they know that it's actually worth more than $5. But yeah, no, totally. Like it's crazy. Like I'm just so glad it's like, I'm glad it's more saturated, but at the same time I'm like, my goodness, it's getting so much more competitive, but you just have to adapt. And I'm adapting well. I'm fucking selling hats like crazy. It's insane. There's not really a big market for hats inside of Houston. So, oh my God, I'm selling more hats now than t-shirts.
Yeah, because that's what we were going to ask you too. Like, what do you sell like more?
Primarily. Yeah. So, I'd say like the past like 4 or 5 months, I've been just going crazy with hats. One, it's so much easier to take pictures of hats. Like with vintage shirts, like I always like to do flat lay. I do these nice, like, you know, I just try to have a marketable page to where my pictures look nice. Like, of course, you know, doesn't it look nice? Yeah. See, with hats, like I can knock out so many in one day taking pictures of them. I can do like a nice design with them, like sitting on a background, and they just sell like crazy. And when one person buys it, when they get it in hand and they're wearing it out and their friends like, yo, where the hell did you get that hat? That's so sick. Like I've never seen that old UT hat before. Like, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, just this guy on Instagram. That's just crazy. One after another, all these dudes are hitting me up buying hats like crazy, and it's so fun. I love it. Like I've always just been into sports, and I'd probably say that's because my parents were never really into sports. So that's what made me get like really into it, because all my friends were into it. And now I'm just like a sports fanatic. Like I love vintage sports gear, you know, you name it. It's so fun.
And whenever you get the hats, because I mean, we've gone to the thrift store, you know, like I'll just go and buy stuff for like me or whatever, or my son. And he's the one that just goes and like looks. But when I see hats, I feel like they're always so like dirty or, you know.
Because you do like a deep clean. You do like, you reshape them and everything, right?
Yes, seriously. So when I find it, like I bought fuck ton of hats. Excuse my French, but like a fuck ton of hats from my friends. His uncle collected hats in the 90s. Like he never went to college, so he just like bought hats from every single team, just loved the way they fit, yada yada yada. And my goodness, they were just sitting in his garage for like 20 plus years. So of course you can imagine how dirty these hats, and of course he was wearing them, so sweat stains, I mean, you name it, everything had just the dirtiest shit was probably on that hat. It's been through some probably like grease, everything. So yeah, so I clean those suckers like crazy. Like you got to. I mean, you can't sell that to someone. It's just nasty.
I mean, and it's just if you clean it, it's more the value goes up. Like.
Yeah, the value goes up like crazy, and people love a nice clean hat. That looks like. Of course, these vintage hats are like 20 years old, so you want to try and replicate it like it's still brand spanking new, because if it doesn't look like that, then it kind of looks a little off. And yeah, like you said, like the value kind of goes down. So if you kind of make it, clean it up nice, do a nice reshape, and that takes trial and error like crazy to get like a nice reshape and like learn how to clean it well. I've definitely fucked up some hats on accident. But that's just the way it goes.
Do you ever do like before and afters on your page or no?
Yeah, so definitely like a lot of the time. So talking about fucking up, I did a before and after of like a Texas Rangers hat that I had. My gosh. So a nice like dark blue hat with the T on the front, and it says the Rangers across the back like in big block letters. Yeah. So I was like, okay, before, right? And then I clean it with a bunch of hats. And like I let it sit for a day, like I usually do that, just so like it could really get all the grime out of there. And I pull the hat out the next day, and like the water is just completely blue. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, oh my god! Like I think the hat died on me or something, right? Literally, all of the blue dye from the hat legit came out of it. The hat was red. It was no longer blue anymore. It was insane. I could not believe it. I was like, fuck. Let alone this hat I got for like $12. I could have made like $150 on that thing. I was so pissed.
Oh my god.
From blue to red though?
From blue to red. Yeah, and what's crazy, I had the same hat but a different team, the Cowboys. Not shit happened to that one. That one was completely fine.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like I could not believe that one hat, and I talked to some people about it. They're like, some hats are made with like some different type of cotton wool than other hats, even though made by the same brand. And yeah, this hat just goodness. From blue to red, you can only imagine how like you're in shock. You're like, what the fuck happened here? Like this is insane.
And now you're just like, new service. I'll change the color of your hat. We're like, hey, do mine, bro. Like,
do mine, I got you, right? Let me just let it soak for 5 days and we'll have green tomorrow. Seriously. No, yeah. So we did before and after on that, did a post. People ended up really liking it. Yeah. And they were like, damn, that's actually kind of cool. But of course, it sold it for a little bit less. Didn't matter. I was like, dude, it's a one of one. Nobody has this. So if you want it, you got it. I got you. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back.
Yep.
Peace. Deuces.
And we are back from our little break.
We're back. Better than ever.
I wanted to ask you, like, so aside from buying from other resellers, like, you thrift your own clothes too? And hats and stuff?
Yeah, I do. So I've been, like, when I first started out, I was thrifting like crazy, right? And it was just so much fun. Like, loved doing it. Then COVID hit. And that basically just shut all the thrift stores down. So I was like, dude, how the hell am I going to source? There was really no way to source at that point. I mean, I only had so much inventory. And then once you start selling it off, I mean, how are you going to find more? Yeah. So at that point, it was really hard to figure out, okay, what am I going to do here? And so I just started going on Depop, on eBay, and I would just kind of like put the eBay filter on like lowest price to highest price and just scroll through stuff and, okay, this shit's cool. Oh, I can get this for like $11. Okay, if I can flip this for $20, okay, I'll make $9. Fuck it. Let me buy this. Because I literally no one could go to the thrift store at that time. So I was like, okay, this is the best way I can get some product out there to somebody. Yeah. So that's kind of what I did. I used to thrift all the time. And then as like school came around and working, internship, all this stuff, it just got, you just don't have as much time on your hands. Yeah. So I wasn't thrifting. Usually like when you go in the mornings, it's a little bit better because they put all the new stuff out. But of course, continuously, like through the day at the thrift store, they're always putting new stuff out. But I like going in the mornings because no one's really there.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. And so I slowly kind of leaned off of going to the thrift store and finding stuff just because it got so saturated with people. And it was just getting so hard to find good stuff because now it's 2022. I mean, you got to think 20 years ago, a lot of that stuff is either in a landfill. It's not really going to the thrift store anymore. And it's going more to like the bins, you know, this and that. And so, you know, I know people that own warehouses and, you know, friends of mine that own stores, whenever they're like trying to get rid of product, I'm like, hey, like I'll give you $500-600. Let me buy like just a bunch of stuff. Let me help you out. Get rid of that stuff that like has been sitting for you and let me sell it, you know? And they're like, heck yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. And so I've been doing that a lot. And just as the business grows, you have people who have, like I said earlier, they have parents or an uncle that has just 100+ hats and like, hey, yeah, my uncle's like trying to get rid of these, you know, they're really just dirty old hats. Like, just wanted to know if you'd be interested. And I'm like, hell yeah, let me see what the hell you got. And I found a gem in there. My goodness. Like, of course, I mean, that's just the name of the game. You can't speak too much and say, oh yeah, that hat's worth a shit ton. Cause then he's going to be like, oh, well then,
Yeah.
Let me
I want 100 for that one. You know, that's just how business goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but shout out to Destry. He gave me like 200+ hats, I'd say. Now, one hat in there was like $250. I did a live stream, right? I've been doing these live auctions on Wednesdays.
That happened during like COVID, right? Too, like the auctions and all
auctions
that.
and live streams. Yes, they did, and it was primarily for shirts.
Yeah,
and then kind of like all of 2021 has been like the hats have been going crazy. There's so much more people watching hats, and like, oh my god, the hat prices have just like skyrocketed. It's insane. And so
that's crazy.
To kind of go back on that one hat that I sold for $250, when I got all these hats for my friend, I cleaned them, washed them, and I promoted that I was going to do this live stream. Did a live stream for 30 minutes and I made over $1,000.
Holy shit.
Just selling fucking hats. I made more in 30 minutes selling hats than I've done ever at a fucking pop-up for 6 hours. And I was like, God damn, I should start doing this more.
Dang.
That's insane, right? Of course, I had really good hats.
Yeah.
Very valuable collectible hats that collectors were after for years. And, you know, this, and this. And they weren't all like the craziest ones, but I just was like baffled. Like, wow, in 30 minutes I can do those numbers, but I sit at a pop-up all day and at the end I'm fucking tired and I have to break down the tent and I'm making less than that. I mean, at that point you're like, because at that point you're like, okay, I'm doing this I want to do this full time, like kind of got to change the way I do my business. Maybe I should start doing more of these live streams instead of doing these pop-ups, because all in all, these pop-ups, my gosh, you got to pay like $150, $120 for a spot. So you kind of, if you think about it,
You kind of have to make your money back.
you got to make your money back plus
profit,
you know? So it's, I mean, I love those live streams. Those do really
So
good.
are you still doing those?
Yeah, I'm still doing those. I just did one last Thursday. So that was super fun. Really enjoy it. They have one on Wednesdays and they also have one on Thursdays. It's two different guys. And what's funny, I realized that everyone's watching the one on Wednesday and spending all their money. And so when they go to the Thursday one, not as many people are because they just spent a rack on the Wednesday one, you know. Damn. So, but no, I love it. It's so much fun. I love talking to these guys just over the phone, and he's the other guy on the screen is like helping you sell the hat, you know. Stop sleeping on this hat. Like, this is such a great deal, you know, all this stuff. Yeah.
I watched a couple of them and just to see how it works and stuff, you know, whenever I started seeing them, because it's crazy, because I feel like it does wonders for your social media too, you know, because now your face is out there and it's not just clothes on the feed. It's like, you know.
I mean, I'll hop in there and people are like, yo, what's up, Luke? Like, let's go. At the end of that 30 minutes, I've gained like 30 followers. Yeah, that's insane. If I do that continuously, my gosh, that's better than running an Instagram ad at some point, honestly. Sometimes I mean, so I love it. It's so much fun. I love hats. I love these hats.
Nah, that's fire.
Yeah, it's I really enjoy it. And your hat's fucking sick too. I actually had that hat
Bro.
2 years ago and I sold it. I do miss it, but it's good to see it in person again.
No, I don't even wear this. This is the first time I actually wear it. But I bought it while I was in school, while I was at U of H.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I bought it at the
Go
actual.
Cougs. Same here.
Yeah.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
And shout me out. I got you the shirt.
Right. Oh, she got me a Peterbilt shirt.
Well, I showed it to you when we were at the.
I was like, because
You did,
I would go because I sell too. You know, well, not as much. I'm not as active no more, but I sell on Depop.
Yeah, here and there.
And then yeah, so I would go every Thursday and buy and stuff. And sometimes she'll go, and then I'll be like, you know, if you see something like you think that I might, in the girls section,
Let me know, right?
yeah, let me know. And then she'll come back. She's like, oh, I got this. I'm like, oh, Peterbilt, that's dope. You know,
But
like
at first you were like, oh, Peterbilt, and I'm like, yeah, like Cars, because our son was super into like the movie Cars. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, of course.
Oh, well then I
Yeah.
think he's like, I'm no Mac, I'm a Peterbilt or whatever. And
he's
then
like
said,
Mac. He's like, I ain't no Mac. I'm a Peterbilt. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh
gosh.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. Y'all talking about Peterbilt? I'm sorry, I don't know Peterbilt. But if you want to inform me on Peterbilt, I guess it's a car brand. It's a car.
It's
something
a
with cars.
18-wheeler brand.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because he
So
was
there's like Mac
sick.
trucks, and then
Cars,
there's
the Mac.
Peterbilt.
And I think Mac is like the top dog, right?
Yeah, Mac truck. Like, you know, you got what's her name? My goodness, the rapper. My God, I'm flopping on it.
I don't know.
She's dating Offset. What am I saying?
Cardi?
Cardi B. She's like Big Mac truck. You know? Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Cardi fucking B. She's always talking about the Big Mac truck, but not that. Probably she's talking about her ass. Probably. Right? Yeah.
That's so funny.
I was gonna ask you at what point you became aware that there was like a community for vintage, but I don't know. You want to speak on that because you said like
yeah. So I'm like indifferent about it. Like there's yes, there is a community, 100%. But it's at the end of the day, we're all just our own businesses. Like, yes, it's a community, but at the end of the day, we're all competitors. We're all trying to survive in a way, make some money. You know, we all have our own business tactics, how we want to do things. Now, yes, I call it a community. In like 2020, I would. Now it's gotten very like ego has kind of taken over, and people are very like gatekeeping with their knowledge, where they get their stuff, how to clean a hat even. And I'm just like
they don't want to say like
they think it's gonna ruin their business in a way that they're giving out their secrets. But my thought process is like, why would you do that? That's hindering the growth of vintage clothing, let alone just shopping secondhand and where to find cool stuff. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, I'm all about sharing all the knowledge. Yeah. Like, I put all my prices on all my stuff. I'm not like DM to purchase and try to hide like what something's going for. A lot of people do that because they don't want people to like look at their price and say, my gosh, he's like charging way too much for that stuff. Or for people to look at him and say, okay, now I know how to price that hat. Okay, he's asking $1,000 for that. Okay, then I should probably ask $1,000 for this.
Yeah.
People are super gatekeepy, like with the way that they clean their hats and where they find their stuff. Look, it doesn't matter. You have to adapt and change it. The way things grow is because more and more people know about it anyways. So you gotta just think this. At the end of the day, there's always going to be more buyers than there are going to be sellers. So tough luck. You just got to adapt and learn how to be competitive and be better than everyone else and be different. And you're going to be good and consistent. It's all about consistency. It's literally that. And that's just why I say like it was a community. Then I started to kind of realize as like I got bigger and I saw other people kind of like gatekeep stuff. And I was like, why are you gatekeeping? Like, what is the point in that? Yeah. And then myself, I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I think everyone deserves the knowledge because at the end of the day, like, I don't care if someone goes to the same thrift shop that I go. There's tons and tons of clothes out there and hats. I'm just as well going to find something the very next day and they're not going to be there that day. So who cares? It doesn't matter. The more the merrier. That's my thought process on it.
Yeah, because I hated going to the thrift store because I knew that Thursdays was the day that they like restock and shit. And I would go early. The one time I went early, and then, bro, like there was like they go in packs, you know, they go in like groups, yeah, and then they're just like one's in one aisle, the other one's over here, and then they're just like picking up shirts, throwing them at each other, like putting them in their cart, and I'm just there like, holy shit, you know, and it's kind of intimidating, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, fuck, like, oh, they must have got some good stuff, yeah. But once they leave, and then if you take, but they're in there like fast, like they're in there like,
oh my god,
you know?
I mean, they've got it down to a science, like boom, they're going through a rack in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
for me it takes me 30, right?
Yeah, but
seriously,
I would go and I would listen to music or a podcast while I'm looking, and there's shit they're gonna miss, you know what I mean? So you end up finding your shit, taking your time or whatever. But
no, exactly. Now I will say, like, there is like a bit of a competition when you're in a store and you see someone who you judge is probably another reseller, and you're like, fuck, he's already in here before me, like he's probably already got some shit, and you're like looking at his cart like, damn, okay, actually I should be good, I could probably find something, you know. So I've actually walked into a store over here by near U of H when I used to live there, and as soon as I walk in the store, if you know who Paul Cantu is, this motherfucker walks out of the store. I'm like, all right, I'm getting that fuck out of here. He definitely snagged everything.
Yeah. Bro, he's unreal. Like, so the shit he finds, I'm just like, there's no way, you know?
Yeah.
And then I've gone to places that he goes, you know, the same ones, and and I won't find shit. And then he'll upload a video, he's at that one, and then boom. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
because he's shown me his videos, and I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, he's a character. He's badass.
He's a character. I love him. He definitely deserves the title Thrift God.
Yeah.
He's always finding the good stuff. And I mean, shout out to him for like showing his spots, because he definitely didn't need to, but I'm all for showing it because, hey, then I learned where to go too sometimes. And I checked it out, and I also found cool stuff. And yeah, shout out to that guy. That's cool.
Shout out Paul Cantu, man.
He's like one of the guys that really like started this like thrifting scene, like just was big on YouTube and has just been big ever since. And
yeah, he kind of was, right? Like,
I think he's the one that sparked me like into like, I'm like, oh shit, like he's doing shit like that, you know. And then that's what kind of sparked me into getting into it.
Yeah, because you know, before we used to always buy my son like not brand name, but like maybe his first year, you know.
But not just Carter's and stuff like that. Yeah, just
like, Carter's, like that
what are
store.
Carter's?
It's
Carter's.
Like a store. Okay. It's like a baby store.
Gotcha.
So literally, like his first year, we would go and buy all his outfits there.
Just from there.
There. Yeah. And they're pretty pricey, right?
Like, so it's like, let's say a little kid t-shirt's like $15 or $10.
Damn, like, I feel like that's pretty pricey.
And then I go to the thrift store, and I'm like looking, and then I'm like, holy shit, this is a Carter shirt, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know what I mean? And then I'm just like $2 or no, at the time it was like 3 kids shirts for like $2, you know. So I'm like,
so you're like, hell yeah, I want this.
No, literally. So after when Roland decided to do like the resale, we just started just going to the thrift store.
Really?
Literally, like. I think my son's closet is literally all thrift store. Maybe his pants, like not like his sweats. You know, if I don't find some, like I'll just go look for some. You know, at a store. But pretty much all his t-shirts are from like thrift store. Like literally. Ooh, sometimes, and he has like some good vintage jackets too, right? That we usually give like my son's clothes to like his little cousins because he's the oldest. So then. But I've kept so many good like vintage jackets that I considered vintage, you know?
Yeah, I bet you guys have found some good stuff if you think about it, because I don't know like many people that are like out there buying that just to resell it. You know what I'm saying? You guys are probably finding some cool stuff.
No, so then like when he used to go to resell whatever, I would just go and like look for stuff for like our son.
For him, of course. No, that is so cool.
Yeah,
we said we were gonna go buy him some stuff because he needs clothes.
Yeah, he's outgrowing everything and shit. But I still have a whole drawer full of clothes that I bought too big. But I bought too big too, because there was just shit that I would find. I'm like,
too big for him. So when he grows up though,
he'll have them.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I want him to wear this shit right now. But you know,
it looks like a 5X on him. Right?
So
literally, because. Not that long ago, I think he's never been the type to go into his drawers and take the clothes out, you know? I don't know if you've seen those videos, but he's never been like that.
Okay.
So then recently I was like, oh, go get, like, you know, go put a shirt on or something. And he found that drawer that had like the big sizes.
Like.
And then he came out and he's like, Mommy, look, big. And then I was just like, he dressed himself, and
"Too
it was like a
big."
big ass t-shirt. And I'm just like, I was like, oh, let me go change you. And he's like, no, that he liked it.
He like, I like this style. He's really, it's really
okay.
fitting with the times, the big t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
He's like, mommy, I want to wear this to bed.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Well, yeah, I bet you guys have found some crazy stuff. You got to show me later.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'll try to look for some stuff. Do you think people are back to the pricing thing? Like, you think people overprice their stuff like more than anything, or you think a lot of them are fair?
I think people like the ones that have been in it for like some time, like definitely know how to price their stuff correctly. Now there's people out there that just have so much greed in them that they're like, they know like this. I'll just tell you what I do, right? So I go on eBay and I go sold listings. I see what it's sold for on eBay. Okay, not everything is getting sold on eBay, but on there you can actually see like what has sold in the past 90 days compared to like Depop. You can't see like what something is sold for, yada yada yada. I've been saying that a lot, yada yada yada. But
we say da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Yeah. That's what we do.
That's so funny. No, but to get back on that, yeah, that's how I price my stuff. If I see,
Yeah, because I went to your website and I was like, let me see if he charges a lot or not, you know. And
Yeah,
I
no,
was
of
like,
course.
he's like, how much did he charge? And I'm like, oh, pretty much the same how you charge.
Yeah, she's like, oh, his prices are pretty good. And I'm like, oh, you're on his website? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I thought usually honestly, I feel like when people are like vintage, you know, like I feel like they always charge so much, you know. Not always, I guess most of the time.
True.
know?
Well, I'll give you this. So, like, of course, I'm like trying to go on eBay. This is mainly like what I do for hats because, like, for shirts, there's just so much more of a plethora of shirts out there than there are hats. So if I just have some random like vintage fishing shirt, it's not going to be on eBay, and I'm not going to get an accurate thing. So you're just kind of going to put it in this range of, at least for me, I put it in this range of like 15 to 30. Yeah. You know, if it's a little bit cooler, you know, we put it a little bit more, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how I price it. Now, yes, a lot of people are selling shit for way too much, when in fact, you can literally go on eBay and price check like what it's sold for in the past. So why the hell are you charging $100 extra over what it's been going for the past 90 days? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I use eBay as like a StockX in a way to see what is the market price on this. And I'll even knock my price down a little lower because at the end of the day, eBay is taking like 10%. So if someone's selling a shirt for $100, right? The person's only making $90. Well, then hell yeah, I'm going to sell mine for 90 because then I'll just make 90 straight up. Now that seems cheaper to the person who's looking on eBay for the same shirt, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when it starts to get competitive. Like then you're like, oh shit, who's selling it for 90? Well, now I'm going to sell it for 80. Oh.
And then you start like,
and that's the whole thing with like people putting stuff in their $5 you know, bin on the floor, when I in fact have it on my rack for 15. It's just because they couldn't sell it. They waited and it waited and it still didn't sell. Fuck it, we're gonna throw it in the $5 bin. This is like the leftover pile, the death pile in a way, you know. So yeah, to answer your question, like, yeah, a lot of people know like the prices they're working with, but a lot of people are straight tripping. They are too greedy with what they've got.
Don't you think it sucks that I guess how I'm seeing it is that let's say the consumer, the you know, the buyers are usually, I mean, obviously there's gonna be people that know their stuff, and then there's gonna be people that, oh shit, vintage is in, let me start buying some vintage shit, right? So and if let's say like you got in early, and then now it's like these people that are pricing their shit really high, and let's say I'm like looking for some vintage, and I'm like, oh, their shit is real high, they're selling a t-shirt for $100, 120, like they know their shit, that's real vintage, you know. When in fact you're selling real vintage, but it's like priced fair,
priced
you know
fairly.
I mean? And now you have a sea of people going and supporting the people that are overpricing, and for you to speak up against a sea of like consumers and all this shit, you're just like, fuck, I can't make a change. Like it's just what it is, you know. Like it kind of sucks, you know. Like
yeah, it does suck, but I think like I love that I get to speak on this because more people need to know, like, this is just how it's going to go at the end of the day. If we want this stuff to grow, like, people need to know, like, people need to have more knowledge on it. Of course, the whole game is eventually going to be, like, going to the thrift store and finding it for cheap to then flip it. Now, there's just, like, of course, people will start to say, like, oh, well, you're taking away from the poor people. Well, there's plenty of clothes guys in the world. Like, there's
I was going to ask you about
tons of clothing. There's, like, endless amounts. Like, we could live generations on end with the amount of clothes we have. So why are you sitting here telling me that I'm taking, like, good clothes off people's feet when, in fact, they could go in at the same time I'm going in and find that stuff and wear it? They're not going to a thrift store just to find that cool stuff. They're trying to find just some T-shirt to put on their back because they can't afford to go to even Gap or something like that. They need to go. Well, they don't need to go, but some do, right? Yeah. For instance, because that's just, they only make so much, you know? Yeah. And so people like to say that, and I just say back to them, like, guys, there's plenty of clothes in this world. You don't need to worry about that. Yeah. This is how capitalism works. Yeah. You yourself can go to the store and flip stuff. That's totally you. You do you. Mind your business. I'll mind my business. That's just how it is. I don't know. How do you guys feel on that? What's your
it's
thought
true.
on that?
I mean,
have you heard that point of view?
No, yeah. And then I'm on Reddit a lot, on a Depop subreddit. Mm-hmm. And on there is nothing but complaints. It's just like people complaining, and then they always have their back and forths about like landfills and shit like that. Like, oh, you know, I hate these resellers because they're overpricing, and when you can sell it for or give it to somebody that's in need, and there's always gonna be somebody that needs more than the next, you know. So you're never gonna, you know, like meet that. Whatever, you know,
you're not gonna make everybody happy.
At the end of the day,
so.
you really can't, and you just gotta let them know straight up. It's just how it is, and I just can't say it enough that you don't need to worry because there's just so much out there. It's just endless amounts, and you think like it's just the U.S. Like there's people in the Philippines and Indonesia and places like that are reselling even crazier than the people are here, because they're like, holy shit, we get this made in America stuff, great quality, you know, all this stuff. It's coming over here practically for free because we can't keep it in the US. Like it's just piling on top of each other. Yeah. So we're shipping this off basically to a landfill over there. But before it goes to the landfill, they run it through the town and say, hey, like we got this bale, we'll sell it to you for $90. All right, you pick, and then that's all yours. You get to go through it, and then people will buy that bale, keep some stuff for themselves, and then resell the rest so they can make their money back. That's what they do. Like all the shit that gets so left over at the racks, gets left over at the bins, goes to the warehouse first. Then after that warehouse, it goes overseas, and then they take another pick at it, and then the last final landing position is in a landfill or in the ocean, and it takes millions of years to disintegrate. It's literally like
that is just so crazy. And how did you find out like
about that? Mm-hmm. So that's why I was kind of on my phone here for a second. I watched this video on YouTube, and it's called, let's see here, the environmental disaster that is fueled by used clothes and fast fashion. And this is by the foreign correspondent, ABC News. And they talk all about it. They really get in depth with it. It's like a 30-minute video. And they just say, like, my goodness, like, look how much we are overproducing clothing. Shein, oh my goodness. They're like the people that work for Shein are working on pennies on the dollar. It's insane. It's like slave labor. I've heard
about that.
You know, you've got little kids probably making that Shein top that you bought for $9, and that kid made 2 cents, and now you're thinking now that you know that, you're thinking, damn, I'm like supporting that because I'm buying that cheap ass crap from them. You're seeing Shein in the thrift store now because that shit's whack. That shit
No, yeah,
is
it's a
low
very
quality.
cheapy material. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've only ordered once, and it was last year. But whenever I ordered, I was like, we were going on vacation, so I was like, let me try it out,
Yeah,
right?
of course, everyone was on it. Sheen Hall, this,
No,
yada
yeah,
yada. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah. Honestly, and then when I haven't ordered since it was October,
Well,
my first
I won't
time.
judge you if you
No,
order
no,
from
no.
it, but
No, but I did, before I ordered, I would see a lot of people post it, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, let me try it. But I was always so scared that it was cheapy quality.
yeah.
Because I would see it at
But
the
yeah, it was
stores,
almost
too.
like it was a popular thing too, though, like
Yeah.
a popular name brand, and
Yeah.
you know,
But
like,
it was more, their things are so cheap, literally.
So cheap. You're thinking like, how the hell are they making money off
Yeah.
this?
Because
It's
then
insane.
I would order from like another little store. It was called like Blush Mark or something. But it's a little bit more expensive, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm like, all right, let me try Shein or whatever. And when I ordered, I mean, the stuff that I got was not bad. I mean, it was all right for the price, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then I started seeing the whole don't support Shein, like, or Shein, like, you know, they like abuse their workers and shit like that. So I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always, not that I'm like, oh, I don't care, whatever, you know, it doesn't affect me, you know?
Yeah, true.
Not
No,
in
exactly.
a selfish way, you know,
Yeah.
but
True.
I mean, I haven't ordered, but it was more like, oh, damn, like, that's crazy, you know, like they're
That's
they're
actually
that type
happening.
of company, you know.
Yeah, that they would
But
do that.
but the quality wasn't like, you know, it's like whatever to me,
Yeah,
you know.
true.
But
Well, you'd be
but you can find them at
surprised.
the thrift like all the time.
Yeah, you really can. It's insane, like how much clothes that they push out, and for so cheap, it's too good to be true. Like,
Yeah.
there's someone not getting paid if you think about it. Like,
No, yeah,
the
it
fair
only
amount.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only makes sense, and what I was saying is you'd be surprised how many other companies are doing the same shit, but they're doing so well at hiding it. But people are figuring that shit out. That shit's happening. I mean, you've got
Yeah.
Urban Outfitters, Fashion Nova. I mean,
See, like
I could
Fashion
go
Nova,
on
I've
and
always
on.
felt like they were really like not pricey, but you know, to me, I was just like, but I mean, see, I used to always go thrifting anyways, like because even before he started reselling, like I would go to the thrift store and buy me my like random stuff, you know,
yeah, of course.
because it was just so cheap, you know, and I was
Yeah.
just like, shit, it's like I don't care for it, like
No, of
I'm
course
just
not.
gonna get
and
it,
at
you
that
know?
point, you're not even supporting that set company if you're buying it from the thrift store. So it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter to
Yeah.
me, regardless. It's just the fact that they revolve their business on using people, hard work, and paying them pennies on the dollar, which
No,
fucking
yeah.
sucks, and like doing overtime like crazy, and practically sweatshops like you hear like in China and yada yada, and just
No, yeah, because and Shein like on the because what I do is I like to look at reviews, right? If I can't try it on, I go based off the reviews.
yeah.
And it's really like, oh, this top fit me really well. Give my my review a like so I can get points.
Mm-hmm.
So they give the people points if they leave reviews on like
Oh,
the actual
really?
item, and those points accumulate, and then you can buy stuff for free.
Oh shit, that's actually a smart idea. I'll tell you what though, I heard this in the news. I'm like 99% sure this is about Fashion Nova, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. They were faking their 5-star reviews. They were putting a shit ton of 5-star reviews on all of their products, so it seemed like everything was like
Legit.
top quality, legit. Like people were loving this. They were faking the hell out of it. How schemy of them, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, of course, every business is probably doing some type of shady business that you don't know, but the fact that got called out on, that's crazy. That just makes you realize, like, what the hell are these other companies doing, right? Behind
Yeah.
our backs. You don't know. It's insane, but that's just...
But I mean, isn't it like crazy to say that that's just how life is, right?
Yeah, it's
It doesn't
basically
make it
out of your
okay.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if just because you don't go support them, they're not gonna shut down.
Yeah, they're not. They're just too big.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is speak out about it, and if enough people speak out about it, then something will happen, right? But I'm not about canceling whatsoever. I think that's the dumbest shit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty.
We think the same.
I think people have just come to the point where they're just too soft to like realize that we're all human beings.
Yeah.
People mess up, right? I bet that same person calling someone out and trying to cancel them has fucked up at one point in their life, but they just haven't been called out on it. No one's fucking perfect. Like, I just think it's so hypocritical, because if you probably go back to that person that is like I said, is calling someone out. They've probably fucked up. They just haven't been called out on it.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking perfect. At the end of the day, I get you can suspend someone. I think that's a better term for it. Like if someone fucks up, like kind of just like they need to go for a little bit. You know, like they need time
for everything to die down and shit.
You know,
it's kind of like the Travis Scott. The whole shit happened, and he hasn't been active or on social media or anything. You know, so
he hasn't at all. So I mean,
give it time for people to forget about it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that was tragic. Of course, I don't want to speak on that because that's just so sad at the end of the day. But just like canceling in general, I hate it. It's so dumb. I just think we live in a day and age where people idolize these celebrities like they're some type of god, and so when they see them fuck up, they think that they can go after them. Yeah. Because they messed up.
But but then at the end of the day, it's like, who the fuck are you? Like you're nobody.
True. And what I've realized is like I've met some fairly famous people. They're just normal people like us, but those people that are calling them out, they don't know that. They have never like interacted with someone like that and don't realize. I mean, I'll tell you that, like when I was like, 12, 13, 14, that's how I looked at famous people. I thought they were some type of goddess, right? God. And so, but now that I've met some people and I've made some connections and with, wealthy individuals, famous people, they're just normal. They're just like us. They're just normal people.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, I feel like celebrities were untouchable, or you're never going to see them. It's going to be rare. And I've built same connections, and you could spot Slim Thug like at a store or something. Like he goes to the vintage stores too and stuff like that. It's just very normal, and they are just regular people. Like
exactly.
So crazy.
We were in New York for New Year's, and we're walking in Times Square on New Year's Eve, and we see Tommy Fury. You know who Tommy Fury is?
I don't.
He was supposed to fight Jake Paul. You know who Jake Paul is? Mm-hmm. He was supposed to fight Jake Paul, but then Jake Paul ended up fighting Tyron Woodley.
Okay.
You know that guy, right? Oh, we see him. Tyson Fury, maybe his dad. So
okay.
Not his dad, sorry, his brother. I always call him his dad because he looks fucking way older. He's bald, so you can only think like he's probably his dad, right? It's his brother.
Okay. Yeah.
We see him, and Sarah, my girlfriend's brother, Nicholas, he goes, "Yo, that's Tommy Fury." I'm like, well, shit, let me go say hi, right? I mean, it's just a normal person. Of course, he's gonna love that someone notices him and says like, "What's up?" So he's down there already with his girlfriend walking off, and I'm like running over there. Yo, Tommy. He's like, "Oh, mate." He's like from he's from Britain. He's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Like, would love to take a picture." Of course. I mean, you can. That's like when you think about it, you're like, that's the first thing that comes to mind that you want to do that, right? A picture, right? We were in Times Square, so shit was just like people were walking. I was like, "Hey, what's up? Okay, yeah, can we take a picture?" And so I just took a pic. But that was so cool. I mean, it's just normal. Like he just love to. Yeah, of course I'll take a pic. Yeah, of course I'll take a picture with you. So that was super cool.
Yeah, I just seen a video. I think Complex posted it or something, and it was Drake. Mm-hmm. It said, "Fan casually says what's up to Drake or whatever," and Drake's walking by. This guy's sitting like with a beer or something. He's like, "Hey, bro." He's like, "Hey, Drake, like your music or love your music," and they just do a little fist bump, and then that's it.
Keeps walking.
Yeah. And it's like she's like, "Hey, like your music, bro," and then that's it. And I'm just like, "Damn!" Like,
he's casual about it. He's not like because there's people out there.
No, yeah, like
fangirling.
No, but like I've also seen like Kourtney Kardashian.
Yeah,
like her thing is like she won't take pictures, she won't say hi. Like it's so crazy because there is that type of like celebrity that is just like,
and I think they're just so tired of it. Honestly,
more than likely,
more than likely, it's just.
I mean, they grew up in that world. They grew
up in that. I mean, anytime you see very, very, very popular, I would say, A-listers, more than likely they're wearing sunglasses and they're just not trying to get all that paparazzi on them. They're just ready to walk out that hotel and walk straight into their SUV that's taking them off to wherever they're going. They're just they just don't like that. But the ones that are a little bit smaller and they appreciate it. They love it. They any time, and I think that's so cool because then you realize like, oh, it's just another normal human being. They're just they've hit the success, and they're only getting bigger and better, and they knew how to do it, and props to them, and it's just a normal human.
Yeah. Hey, shout out all the humans out there, bro.
Yeah, shout
Seriously.
out all the Homo
Be
sapiens.
nice. So going back to your website, because we talked about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you plan on having like an actual store?
Yeah, so currently I would love to, and I've always told like all my fraternity brothers, I've told my girlfriend, I've told everyone, yeah, I would love to. I mean, who wouldn't, right? In this space, you sell vintage clothing online. Why wouldn't you not want to go the brick and mortar route and sell clothes for a living? That would be so sick. I currently am like contemplating it just because the business side of vintage, profit margin wise and everything, like it's a lot of work. Like, don't get me wrong, I would enjoy it and love it, but I think I need to figure out where I would want to do it first.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it in Houston just because there's just too many. How am I going to compete when there's 20 other vintage stores in Houston, Texas? It's just way too hard. It's just harder for you to get up to their level. Not that I wouldn't be able to do it, because anything's possible.
Yeah.
But compare that to if I were to start a store, for instance, in, I don't know, let's just say Waco, Texas, or just name a city that's pretty big but doesn't have a vintage scene whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like my buddy started a store in Lubbock. He's one of 2 vintage stores in Lubbock, Texas, where Texas Tech is, and he's killing it because those are the only 2 stores there.
Oh,
Yeah.
He has the entire market right there for him. So, yeah, would love to start a store. That would be so cool. I tell people, 3 to 5 years, like I can do it. I'm currently working on getting licensed to be a financial planner. So I have to get like my Series 7, all this stuff. And that's what I went to school for. I really enjoy it. That job in itself is your own entrepreneur because I'm selling stocks and bonds, life insurance, everything to help you invest, build your life, make a budget, all this stuff. And that's how that business makes money. And I see a lot of successful people in it, and they have their own hours, and they have this, and this. So I really want to like get super good at that and do well in that. And then if I gain enough money, maybe I'll take a chance and start a store.
Yeah.
And that's what my friend actually did. He runs Alabama Vintage. His name's Charlie Nelson. He's literally did the same exact path that I'm on. He's just 2 years older. He wasn't in financial planning, but it was something in finance, right? Went to work at a big firm. Hated it. Just was not about that 9-to-5 life. Had a crazy following on Instagram. Started a store during COVID in Huntsville, Alabama. A year and a half later, he starts a store in Tuscaloosa, where University of Alabama is. So you can only imagine, like, there's no market for that stuff there. And now he has 2 stores, and it's crazy. And he's living it up. He's in New Orleans right now. Shout out to Charlie. It's his birthday tomorrow, and he is
shout out
just
Charlie.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Like he took the risk, and it's all about risks. I tell people that all the time, but he took that risk, and he's enjoying it.
Now he's in New Orleans celebrating.
He's in New Orleans celebrating. I wish I could be in New Orleans celebrating, but I had to work today, right? I had to go to work today.
And then we had the podcast schedule.
And then we had the podcast, right?
Yeah, you're never gonna know unless you take that risk,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that makes sense though. Like having it somewhere where there's not a lot of vintage stores. I mean, it's only gonna target your store more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, this stuff is only going to get bigger and bigger. I don't blame people to start a store. I think go for it. If you can do it, talk to the right people, you can make it happen. I think just in Houston, Texas, might not be the right move because there's just too many of other people like me doing the same shit. How am I going to stand out amongst the others?
What if you did a mobile store?
True. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually something that is like I write on my website. It's in my about me, and I say I would love to own the blue a blue Volkswagen, right? And I would love to just drive that thing around the country and just do pop-ups. And like, just imagine, like, this is like my vision, right? And I see this in my dreams. I'm like opening my sliding door on my bus, and like I pull this like tent out pergola, and I have like this fake grass on the floor. I've got my rug from you right there, and I'm selling clothes, and I'm just traveling, selling clothes. I follow all these bus accounts, and it just looks so fun. People that like just, live in their bus and stuff like that. Super like hippie vibes, super cool. Like, not that I would probably live in my bus. I would like to take a nice clean shower, like in a house or something instead of like that. But that would be fun. Like you said, like something mobile like that. That one business called United States Vintage Service. Have you seen it? It's I
haven't.
It's just think of the big UPS trucks. Not the small one that comes by your house, but like 3 times that size. He made a vintage store out of that, and he just put racks in it, made it super nice. Shout out to him. Super cool idea, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in a way, that's kind of like my vision, but then with my bus, because of course, my thing is surrounded around this blue bus vintage. Yeah. Dang. So why not do that, right? That would be cool.
Have you looked into them?
Yeah.
Like the pricing?
The pricing. So I follow a guy that like buys and flips them. He'll buy them like all fucked up, like do a nice paint job, fix it all up. I mean, I've seen some go, for around 15,000. So it's like with my job I'm working at now, like I have student loans I'm paying off currently. I'm about to pay that shit off this year. So I'm fucking hyped. Good. Let's go. So once I pay that off, hell yeah, I'm starting to save for that. I want one. Yeah. I want one now. That thing would be so sick. Like, if I get one, I'm going to get a fucking badass one. It's going to be the perfect color blue that I want. Ooh, it's going to be so nice. I'm excited.
You're speaking it into existence.
Yeah. Sure. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Like, that's just like, I'm always about like speaking it into existence. Like, I'm so glad you said that, because when I was trying to take these tests, I was like, I'm going to pass this test for work. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, my work would be like, how do you feel? I was like, yeah, I'm going to pass the test. Of course, the test was like in 2 weeks. Yeah, at that time, maybe I wasn't probably wasn't going to pass it, thinking I was going to pass it, but I'm going to just at least say it, manifest it in a way. And so it's like law of attraction. Like, you just got to say it to make it real. And that's what I'm trying to do with getting this bus and passing these tests, and just with everything in life. Like, just at least speak it to make it real. Don't have it just up here. If you have it up here, it's like, it's nothing. It's just a drunk thought. It's nothing. Yeah. Nothing is actually really coming out of it. But if you either have it written down, you're doing these affirmations in a way, saying that you're going to do it. It's more than likely going to happen. You just gotta make yourself believe and make others kind of bring that energy your way, that, oh yeah, he's saying he's gonna do it. All right, he's gonna do it. Hell yeah, let's go.
Have you seen the Kanye West documentary?
Yes, I did.
Because that's full of like manifestation, bro. Like, it's so crazy. And I was telling her, I'm like, man, there's just scenes where he's just like, I want to be the best dressed rapper. Like, and then now he has a clothing line. Or he's like, whenever they put, instead of Kanye West, they wrote Kanye, and then he's like, might as well just be Chicago's very own Ye, and now his name is Ye. It's like, and I literally remember the whole Kim Kardashian shit that's going on or whatever. Yeah, I remember that he was there was a time where he was like, I'm gonna be with her, like I want her as my girl, and fucking married her and everything.
I remember in the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, he was like her friend, and he would like pull up and stuff.
Oh, like in the episodes too, like he would come up. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I feel like he came out maybe in like 2 to 3 episodes, like a long time ago.
Oh
yeah. But man, he manifests a lot of shit.
He really did. Like that show, oh my god, like it did wonders on me. The last episode, at least, like I just got, and my brother too, we both talked about it. Like, oh my god, I got so much like inspiring words out of that, because this man was so he was very self-conscious, and like was like braggalocious, like about it. Like, that's not a word, but like he knew he had it going for him, and he said that it was gonna happen. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna be that way too. Like, I'm gonna speak it to existence.
Yeah, yeah.
And this man is crazy.
But you can tell he worked for it. Like,
Yeah, he did.
so it's like, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna do it, but not do shit about it and wait for others to do it. Like he did like a
yeah,
lot.
like people had to realize like he was more than just this producer.
Yeah.
You know, people had to, like, for me, they had to realize I was not just some weed out vintage account. You know, like, I'm the real deal now. Like, I actually have a decent following behind my name. Like, people support me like crazy. Like, if I were to go just ghost on people, they would like legit
like, what
miss
the
me
fuck?
and be like, where the fuck is the blue bus? Where's Luke? Like we need his clothes. Like
We need his hats.
we need his hats.
His color changing the hats, like
Right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's, you know, so it's so crazy that my business has gotten to this point so big. I did not think, I mean, I did think it would go big, but not this quick.
Yeah.
I made a it's actually on YouTube, you can watch it. I made a video to join the entrepreneurship school at U of H, and at that point I basically like said in the video, I was like, I'm the next biggest like vintage account coming out of Houston, because I for real was like, I was the fastest growing account from when I started to where I was at that point. Like, bro, everyone was, I mean, it sounds weird, but everyone was following me. Like, I just like felt like things were going my way. My sales were through the roof. My best year was that whole COVID year because of people getting all these stimulus checks, trying to just spend their money like crazy. And oh my gosh, I had over 1,000 shipments in my first year. I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy.
And you're official. You have an LLC.
I have an LLC now.
It's
It's officially official. Like, I'm doing this. There's no stopping it. Like, of course you have doubts here and there. And like when I had the issue with the shirt and that failed, but like, that's life. Yeah. It's just,
it happens.
You gotta, the most successful people in the world have gone through so much more failure than you have. So you have to realize, like, you have to love the process. Like Gary Vee says, he always says, you have to love the process of like going from the bottom to the top. Like, everyone wants it so quick nowadays.
Yeah,
it's insane.
that's what it's about. It's just the whole process of getting there is what's fueling your want. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Because I kind of say it a lot. But my brother, he wanted to start a gym. He still does. Mm-hmm. And he sees like all these gyms that are coming out of Houston or whatever, and he's like, I'm like, start buying the equipment, you know, and then get your space. He's like, yeah, because when I get my space, I want a big space. And I'm just like, no, bro, like, they started in a little warehouse, or they started in their garage, you know, and it's like, but he's like, nah, but I gotta get a blacked out gym. I want badass equipment. I'm like, bro, it's like, there's no story. There's no story behind it. Like, people like to see like, oh, I used to go when he was in the garage, you know, and now he's in this space. And you know, you build a family around that. You build a following and a story and shit, you know.
True. It's so much harder to like start something when you have like super high expectations like that. Like when you judge yourself if you had something less. Because when I started my page, I at first was like, I had a certain expectation of like, oh, I can't post this. Like, it's got to be at this certain time. And two, like, I have to make the picture look nice. It's got to be a certain way. But then I was like, you know, because I was seeing like what these bigger accounts were doing and how like it looked good. And like, this was getting likes. This was getting like lots of engagement. Yeah. It's like, you just got to go for it. And the experience and the knowledge and the way your professional ability, it's not a word, the way your business
He's
looks.
Just making a whole ass dictionary.
I'm making a whole dictionary here with you guys. No, but the way that it's going to grow, it's going to get better as you go. So just do it. Just get consistent with it. And it's just going to get better as time goes on. If you look at how my pictures were and the clothing I was selling and all that, compared to where it is now, my gosh, the amount of like, man, I got some good skills with the photo camera now.
Is that all still there on your page?
Is it on your page?
Yeah, it still is there. I mean, you'll You got to scroll back
Yeah.
quite some photos there, but you can definitely see the difference. I've always tried to be about being as professional with it as I can, because what you got to do is, for anyone that's wanting to start their own vintage clothing business, right? You're going to want to look at people that you're inspired by, people that have made it in a way, that are doing really well, that potentially have a store, right? And see, like, how are they conducting their business? What are their pictures looking like?
Yeah.
What are they selling? What are they doing? And that's just how you learn as you go. And that's exactly what I did. And that's a lot. I attribute that a lot to my success, because you have to do, like, it's almost in a way, it's like a research.
Yeah.
I'm doing this research on how to do it correctly, do it good in a way that people think, for one, I'm a trustworthy business, because of course if you're only like 400 followers, you're like, oh, I don't know about this, right? You have to trust this business. If it looks professional, it looks good, they got a website, blah, blah, then you're like, okay, yeah, this is actually someone who really takes care of their stuff, is legit about this. It's not just some potential scammer in a way, right?
And who inspires you out of like the thrift stores or like other thrifters?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely want to shout out Charlie with Alabama Vintage and Huntsville Vintage, because they were one of the people I followed early on before I started vintage, and I was always buying clothes from them. Another store is Tailgate Classics, and they sold a lot of like vintage, like fraternity clothes, like old school polos, like, that was kind of my scene in high school and in college. Like, we were always wearing the fraternity type stuff, right? Yeah. So that's what kind of like brought me into that scene of knowing, like, oh, this shit's cool. This shit's old stuff from the past. Yeah. So I truly got inspired by those two accounts, but the main one I'd probably say is Sandlot Vintage, and he's just killing it. He is killing it on TikTok now too. I think he's almost at 1 million followers on TikTok.
Oh shit.
And on Instagram it's like 50K. And I just like, okay, I see how he's doing this. I'm just gonna try and replicate it as much as I can, but spin it my way. Yeah. Spin it a little my way. And it's done numbers for me. It's crazy. 2 years in this, and I'm at 5,100 followers. I mean, who would have fucking thought?
And the number's gonna keep going up. It's just unless you get canceled or whatever.
Yeah, you know what?
He doesn't believe in that.
Yeah.
We're not manifesting that.
We're not manifesting that at all. That's so fine. That's so funny.
Did you have something else?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, well, you talked about it a little bit. I was gonna say, like, just something was, what was the craziest like hat or shirt that you own or you found or
true.
Or what was your biggest flip?
My biggest flip. So it's not vintage related, but I'll still say it doesn't matter. It doesn't care. I don't care. I hit on the sneakers app. Can you guess what shoe? It's a Travis Scott shoe.
No, I wouldn't know.
You maybe would know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know him by name. So.
Okay. Well, with the one with the backwards Nike check, the high top, the brown one.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
I hit on that one. That shoe was like 180 retail. And like, this was when I was like into the sneaker stuff in like 2019, right? And I was like, this guy I followed that sold sneakers, he was like, this is a crazy story. So he was like, yo, he put on his story, say, hey, can y'all enter into this raffle for me? And if you win, I'll pay you some money. I started looking up, what the fuck? Why is he wanting to do this? Like, what is this shoe going for on StockX? Of course, I got to do my research on this. I'm like, this shit's going for $1,000, this shoe, and it's not even sold publicly yet, like public release. So I was like, fuck, let me enter this raffle like this guy said. I enter the raffle, and then I'm available. Like, it says, like, I can pick a shoe size. So I pick a shoe size. I was just like picking a shoe size, and it says error. I just go like size 11, click. It's in my cart. I click check out and everything, and it just says got him, like which basically means like you got the damn shoe, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm about to make some bread. What? This is crazy. So everyone in the group chat, the guy asked, he's like, yo, did anyone hit? Because I didn't. And everyone was like, nah. And I was like, nah. But really, I fucking did. And I was like, hell yeah. So that was my biggest flip to date. I put it on OfferUp. Just put it with like the receipt, the tag, everything legit. And so that's like another funny story on that is that I go to sell it to this guy. I get jibbed $100. Basically, he didn't give me 100. Like, he gave me 100 less.
Dang.
Of course, we were counting the dollar bills out, like so many, but like I kind of lost track. But I think he was definitely scheming. It was a little sketchy. Yeah. So I got jibbed $100. Yeah. But still, fuck it. At the end of the day, I made like $700 off a pair of shoes. And that's the biggest flip to date, honestly. Imagine, like, who the fuck is buying?
I know.
Well, now, crazy thing. If I still held those sneakers till now, I think I'd make like $2,000. It's insane. Yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah.
That is like, that was a big flip.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
crazy, bro.
To date, that is the biggest flip. Now, vintage-wise, like clothing-wise, I don't like the one that's most memorable is that hat, like I said earlier, that I got from my friend's uncle and sold on that auction for $250. That's crazy. I mean, that's insane
it's
for a hat.
hat.
Yeah, it's just like, guys, this is just hats, but no, like people are these collectors like crazy.
I know. I mean, you just have to like have the perfect audience for it.
Yeah, you really do.
I guess we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and that'll be our last.
I can just.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect. That's cool.
So we were talking about your biggest flip, right?
Biggest flip.
And it was
for vintage clothing.
It was the hat, right?
Was the hat, correct. Yeah. Insane that you can make that much off a hat, right? Did you ever think that?
No, I wouldn't pay for it, so it never crossed my mind.
Like, I personally would never pay for that. Like, the most I've spent on a vintage hat is $100. And like, I'm really like, I don't think I could do more than that. It's just like,
because when you go to the thrift store, you realize, oh shit, this is so cheap, it's good, you know, and then you realize like, why am I gonna spend like shit tons of money,
True. At the end of the day, do you really need it? You know?
That.
It's really not. This is all material stuff. At the end of the day, you don't really need it.
But I mean, there is people that find those hats like very valuable, or maybe meaningful, like
to them. It could be. Yeah, it could be like, oh yeah, my grandfather used to wear that hat. Like, I really want it,
Yeah,
and I can't find it anywhere, so I just gotta have it. And that's it's a lot of the times, like with these collectors, they just gotta have it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I will say, are doing it for the clout, and that's something that not a lot of people speak about. You can read some people, and they're just doing it so that it looks cool. Like, oh, he's got that shit. Oh, that means he has bread.
Yeah.
That means he's got money. And, oh, he's cool, so I'm going to follow him because he's got that hat. He's cool. He's got a good collection. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to judge anybody, but sometimes it's a little too easy to notice on some people. Like, it's just, you can tell. Especially when they're like a newer account just starting out, because you're seeing what they're buying and what they're selling. Of course, they're only going after all the stuff that's super hot right now.
Yeah.
Then you start to realize, okay, is this person really in it for like something long term? Probably not. But it's so easy to weed out those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you said earlier, like, if somebody wants to start their own, thrifting business, do research. But what would be like a good tip?
A good tip.
Or like your tip to them.
Yeah. So I would probably say that, man, that's a tough one. What would you say? Now, once you kind of speak on it, I'll probably have a better idea. But when you kind of when did you start thrifting?
Man, I don't know.
It was in 2019.
2019?
Yeah, because it was like late 2019 because Milo was a year. He turned a year in 2019 in July.
And then what were you doing to kind of familiarize yourself more with what to go after?
I was watching Paul Cantu pretty much, and then following certain accounts. I didn't even know there was like a whole like people had accounts dedicated to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just, and even then I was just following people that started buying or wearing vintage clothes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's dope, you know, rap tees and, you know, shit like that.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much what I went off of. But then whenever I first got I went thrifting, and I'm like, I'm gonna try it. And I think I bought like 10 shirts or whatever, and it was nothing special though. You know, it's just, I don't know. I would be like, oh, it has to be single stitch, you know, shit like that, you know. And I was like, all right, it has to have that. And maybe out of the 10, one of them was like that, and I'm like, okay, it's you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Now I have a better idea of what to tip somebody. Like a great tip.
Tip them good.
Tip them good. That's right. I would probably say, like, of course, the most generic thing to say is like you want to go after single stitch clothing, because that's like the most noticeable thing to go after when you're just scrolling through the thrift store, t-shirt wise, right? To know like it's true vintage from the 90s and older, right? Like that's your best tip. But if you're asking like, I don't know what your question. If your question was like, was it more business related or was it more like thrift knowledge related?
Either.
I think it'd be either, or more like, okay, what would be a good motivator to them to get it started.
To get it started, I think your best bet is to just go straight into one. Don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks, because at the end of the day, it's all about consistency. 1, 2, just staying true to yourself, and 3, just, it's crazy, but like I said, like, just don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Just do it. Just do it. It's like, it's so cliche, like, but like Nike says, like, just do it.
Yeah.
The knowledge is going to come as you go. Any business is about connections and who you know. That's how you become successful in this world, is by knowing how to speak with people. If you don't know how to talk to anyone,
you'll learn.
You got to learn, because you got a long road ahead of you.
Yeah. I think another thing you said earlier too was that I really liked, that I was going to tell you, maybe that you said there's more buyers than sellers at the end of the day.
Yeah. There is. So you don't need to be worried about it. You just need to realize, like, if you want this, if you want to try this out, by all means, like, hit me up. I have all the tips. I can help you out. Like, I'm all here, like I said earlier, about teaching how it works and teaching the ways, because when I talked to the people that inspired me, they helped me and they didn't care.
Yeah.
So, and it's what's so cool is that now that my page has kind of matured, it's been 2 years now. I've had so many reach out to me and say, like, you inspired me to start my business.
And that's badass.
That's like the
Isn't
craziest
that like
feeling.
such a great feeling?
It is such a great feeling. And like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Hey, I just learned from people around me, and that's just how this shit works. And it's crazy where it's gone. And that's the biggest tip. You're going to do good in this business if, 1, you show you care, and 2, you're consistent, and 3, like, you got to make friends. Like, this is just like, you got to build this connection with people. Yeah. This is like, if you really enjoy it, like, you got to like the people you work with, the people that are your competitors, but at the end of the day, like, you're homies, because this is still pretty small.
Yeah.
So everyone supports everyone at this point a little bit, because you're so small. So even your competitors support you, because we all are trying to go up together. You know, so that's like, those are like some really good tips, I'd say, for anyone that wants to start this.
And where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram. They can find me on TikTok, and they can find me on Facebook, all at the Blue Bus Vintage. So super easy to find. What's crazy is I didn't know this. Well, so I knew this, but like, I was like, fuck it. I'm the Blue Bus Vintage. There's actually a Blue Bus Vintage. She sells mainly women's clothing, and she's from Canada. So we'll shout out her. She's still doing it. I don't follow her, but that's just I just don't want to.
But he's throwing it out there, so it's the Blue Bus
Vintage. There's the Blue Bus Vintage. Hey, I'm an LLC. She's not. So Who's the real legit one over here? Nah, let me humble myself down a little.
How many followers does she have?
She's got maybe like 3,000.
Oh, okay, so you're
Nah,
yeah.
you're
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? She named it because she actually had the bus, but she sold it. So, do she really got the blue bus vintage or no? Now we're both in the same position. So, who's really gonna have the bus long term? Me?
Babe, he's giving me stalker vibes. He's stalking a girl.
Yeah, I do.
What's she doing now? You know, like
I do check like every once in a while. Okay, what is she up to? Has she stopped doing it yet? So I'll tell her to delete the page. Because I've had people say, "Yo, there's someone doing blue bus." I'm like, yeah. I know.
Wait, but who started it first? You or her?
She did first.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like, come
So
on, that was my name. I needed that.
So when you were on Instagram, you know, the was it hard, or did you literally put the blue buzz vintage?
I just literally put, at first, like I always think like names that say the something just sounds more,
okay,
legit
more legit.
at the end of the day, right? Like there's a store called The Closet. Well, that sounds better than, oh yeah, you're trying to go to the, well, of course, then you say you're trying to go to the closet.
yeah.
You don't say you're trying to go to closet,
Yeah.
for instance, right? So the just makes it like the blue bus vintage.
Yeah.
You know, it's more legit.
Well, shout out to you. His information will be in the description.
I mean, yeah, description.
The description.
We'll pop it up right here, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, no, yeah, we'll have his
If Rollie
admin.
knows how to do this, he can pop it up right here.
Well, it's gonna
hover
pop
over
up
my
I
hands.
can
At
do it.
it's gonna pop up at the beginning too, right?
Yeah, it'll pop up in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Didn't you want to give a special shout out to somebody?
Yes, special shout out to my honey, Sarah. I love you. Episode 50 or maybe 100, just a multiple of 25. You'll be right here.
Yes, Sarah. Looking forward to meeting you as well. Don't forget, this is episode 25, episodio 25. And subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram. Everything will be in the description below.
And also, this is our first episode that we have 2 cameras.
Oh, yeah.
So we're trying out different angles, trying to figure it out. Let us know how we did. Do you like the setup? You know?
Let us know.
Let us know in the
It
comments.
looks good. We want to know what y'all think.
Yeah.
All right, that's
right.
it.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Deuces.